What 5 pieces of classical music would you play to a total newbie to show how good classical music can be? And can you do it in 5 minutes? In the last video, I attempted to answer this question by asking everyone I knew and ending up with 10, actually 11, well, actually several dozen answers, which means my last video failed with its initial premise, finding 5 pieces of music that could play consecutively and enticingly for a newbie's ears. A situation I will correct with this video, where I present my own personal 5-track classical music sampler for newbies. Now, if you're sitting there thinking picking 5 pieces like that is easy, have you really thought about it? Have you thought about how your tracks would sound to a stranger, not just on a first listen, but to someone that hasn't heard any classical music before? Have you chosen entire works, single movements, extracts? Have you thought about how long your tracks are? The attention span of your unknown audience? Do you need to think about the range of your choices? A range of composers, say? Or a range in types of music, styles, genres? How about a range of different periods of music? You're under quite a lot of pressure here to represent at least some of classical music's huge breadth. Like I said, a harder task than you might at first think. So, what did I go and do but make it even harder, but easier for the listener, by making this a 5 tracks in 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes 59 seconds. I know I'm kowtowing to the TikTok generation here, but I just think you have to be realistic about what a newbie's ears can stand. It's all very well enjoying a bit of Bruckner in your spare hours, but classical music fans can forget how long classical music can be. So I thought long and hard about these choices. I'll do a separate video for the actual sampler itself, that's giving me copyright headaches, but here is my brief guide to all of classical music for a complete newcomer in 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes 59 seconds, starting with... There's 2 ways to do this, either charm 'em or surprise 'em. And I've gone for more of the second approach. All my tracks, I think, work in a primal way. You need primal working music to grab the attention of a newbie on a first listen. And I'm going for the jugular here, straight away, assaulting their ears with a noise that sounds like it comes from another world or another dimension. Plus, if you can wait a minute, you also get a lovely circle of harmonies. So after that earful of extraterrestrial extraordinariness, I think my newbie needs something soothing. Yes, pleasant, fun and cheeky, but hopefully another surprise for our newbie. I think the contrast with the Bach shows off the wonderful range of classical music, with George Gershwin luring us towards the pleasures of jazz. There's also a great build to this excerpt from the second movement of his piano concerto. So, hopefully our newbie listener is being pleasantly confounded by what he's hearing, which means it's time to unpleasantly confound him. The raw and primitive rhythm driving this excerpt should grab our newbie's attention. This is an excellent piece of music for showing, if our listeners' ears are attuned to hearing, the sonic range of an orchestra, the different sounds that orchestra can make. There's just so much for an amateur's ears to latch onto here. And incidentally, this is the only track from last video's list to make my own sampling list. My next track might be considered soothing balm after the Stravinsky by some newbies, but others might find it even more shocking. Last video, some people made, I think, some fair comments about opera arias being a no for a newbie, which I agree with, kind of. I hated opera when I was young, hated the way they sung, and yet... This was the first bit of opera that ever pricked my ears in a good way. It's so extreme and yet pure. I never associated it with the opera that I hated. I was wowed. It's a showstopper of a number with, I hope, a good chance of showstopping your newbie. My final track was also chosen for personal, but I think relevant reasons. Well, we had to have some Beethoven. Not sure if you've noticed, but I got my 3 fave composers in, so there's a tick. We also needed to have some chamber music with the string quartet here, having already done choral, orchestral, ballet and opera, so tick there as well. Plus, this was the first piece of music that made me really fall in love with classical music. Played to me by a friend in my late teens. Yes, it's a late Beethoven string quartet, but the music is simplicity itself. You start with those beautiful, simple, layering harmonies. Before out emerges a beautiful melody underpinned by a simple descending bass line. It's close to perfection, and although the whole movement is 15 odd minutes long, you get a great idea, I think, just from the minute and a half I've selected. Okay, that's it. As I said earlier, I'll output the sampler itself as its own separate video. Do let me know your own ideas in the comments section. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.